Now, this is one I've been asked a few times. The best destination for a first-time explorer. It's not actually as simple as you might think. Although that said, I do have one particular place very much in mind. Now, I am not saying that this is the place, you know, every other place is wrong, this is the right one. This is just what I think. So, you know, I don't want to hear people saying, no, you're wrong, you've got to go to blah-de fucking blah. This is, people have asked me, and this is the place that I suggest. It's as simple as that. Now, you can actually see it from here. It's that nebula there. And that nebula is NGC 7822. So we take a look and you can see it's 2,892.87 light years away, or this particular system is, which really isn't all that far. I mean, even for a first time exploration trip, it's not that far. If you go in an ASP, you can get there in no time. The one drawback with this nebula is you do need a reasonable jump range to be able to get into it. So yes, you definitely want to take either an ASP or an anaconda. Mind you, if you've got an anaconda, then surely you've already done some exploring. So yeah, take an ASP Explorer and make sure you've got a decent jump range. It's got to be, you know, I think you need about 35 maybe light year jump range, and then you can get into this system or this nebula no problem. Once you're in the nebula, you want to focus on the it was up there, you go. You want to focus on the S171 systems, which is Shapless 171, what it stands for, not that you really need to know that. There's about 45 of them, I believe. Now, I did a video about 18 months ago, it may be a bit further back than that. It's the longest video I've done by far. It goes on for about 3 3/4 hours. It's fucking unbearable. And I freely admit I was going absolutely fucking stir crazy in it. I started off all enthusiastic and everything, but towards the end I had lost the will to live. So you do need patience, the kind of patience that I just do not have. Mind you, I didn't have it then, but I mean, since then, you know, I've been to Colonia, I've been to Sagittarius A star, I've been to Crab Nebula, which is right over in this direction somewhere. So, you know, compared to doing that lot, this really is quite simple. Anyway, the reason you want to concentrate on the Shapless 171 systems is because if I deselect all of these, they are all Class O stars, and there are a significant number of black holes. I knew I would choose one which doesn't have any in them. See if we can find one. No, it's got plenty of stars in it, but no black holes. But I mean, there are plenty of black holes within. Here we go. There's one in this one. Wait for it to fucking load up. Yeah, sometime today would be nice. There we go. So the black hole's here. I think this is one of those ones which is 225,000 light seconds away from the system entry point. So you do need to be prepared to do a bit of flying around while you are, going black hole hunting. But oh fuck it, I keep doing this. In this nebula, there are, I think, in the region of 30 black holes. I'm not exaggerating one bit. And you'll find them all if you just go to all of the Shapless 171 systems. This one's 47, so there may be 48 or 49 of these. Now I have been to every single one, although I had to do it in 2 trips because, like I say, the first time I just went stir crazy and I just didn't bother staying. But it's helped now because there is also this system, which I went to in a very recent video. But this one has a docking station in here, so you can repair if you need to. But more importantly, you can also sell a huge amount of the data that you've acquired from all of your scanning. It's an asteroid base. It's actually within the rings of this planet itself. It's not orbiting outside them. So it actually does look quite good. But yeah, that is definitely the one that I would highly recommend for a first timer. In this, in 2.3, with the new values on, on data that you sell, you would probably make, well, on the trip out here, and if you scan all of the Shapless 171 systems, then dock here and sell it all, you're probably going to make, I think, in the region of 45 to 50 million. And that's despite the fact that some of the Shapless 171 systems you won't be able to sell here because they're too close. So those ones you save for the return trip. Obviously you want to take a different route back, so you scan a load more systems, and there's a good possibility of another 10, 15 million, maybe more, on the return trip. So that is definitely the one that I would recommend. It's not too far, and you know, it's a decent paying trip. No doubt it's decent paying. If you don't fancy something that far, there are black holes fairly close to the populated zone. I can't remember where any of them are though. Or if you don't fancy black holes and you want to check something that's a bit more interesting, well, I don't know about a bit more interesting, but a bit different, there are some of the giant stars, so you could check out Betelgeuse, which is not far at all. 549 light years from Orève, where I am, so if you are in Federation space or in Imperial space, that could be down to about 400 light years. So yeah, that's not far at all. It's certainly an impressive sight if you like the giant stars, which I certainly do. If you want to go a little bit further afield, but also to see a giant star, then you have YV Canis Majoris, or is it VY Canis Majoris? I always get this fucking name mixed up. Yeah, there you go, so it's VY Canis Majoris. That's out here. This is the largest known star in our galaxy, 1,808 light years. So there she is. And this is one of the smallest stars I've ever seen, so this system certainly gives you quite a contrast. When you first arrive in the system, you can see the star is huge, it's filled, no, almost fills your screen, and then you suddenly notice that you are some 7,000 light seconds away from it. So yes, it is quite a size. Whereas this thing, it looks about that size in actual, you know, when you're actually in space rather than using the map. When you are, I think, 0.2 light years away from it, light seconds away from it. So yeah, unbelievable contrast between the two. And you see, its solar mass is 0.0078. It's a tiny fucking little thing. But you may want to actually wait until you can get a passenger mission to come out here, because there are quite a few passenger missions for people asking to come here. Now if you do, you've obviously got to go to the visitor beacon that is in this system. I have no idea where it is because that feature wasn't in the game when I came here, but that's a way of probably adding another, well, at least 8 million on top of how much you're going to make from the trip. So that's certainly worth doing. 1,808 light years, it's not a vast distance, although personally I think if you're going to do that sort of distance, you may as well do the NGC 7822 trip, because you'll make a lot more money out of it. If you want to see nebulae, and a lot of them, you can already see where I am going to suggest. But if you go to the Orion Nebula, I think you need to be careful because some of these are permit locked. This is one system I've already been to, but there wasn't that that station there wasn't there when I came out here. I don't think I scanned much here. No, I didn't. But you have, so the Orion Nebula, which is in front of us here, you have the Running Man Nebula, which is very small, but there it is. Then, well, you've got the Flame Nebula here, you've obviously got Barnard's Loop, which is this enormous one here, and then if you carry on going just through the Horsehead Nebula, through Barnard's Loop, then you get to the Horsehead Nebula, and that is, I think, the most impressive nebula, the most impressive large nebula that I have ever been to. And then on the, well, you could go on the way there or on the trip back, but you've also got Witch's Head Nebula, which is on the way. So there's no shortage of larger nebulae. I'm not so fussed about the large nebulae now. I prefer the nice small ones. And there's one not far at all from the populated zone. There it is, the Eskimo Nebula, tiny little nebula, but that means that the colours of the gas cloud are a lot more striking when you're inside it. Just one system in there, which consists of a Class O and a black hole. So the light distortion from the black hole, especially when it affects the nebula cloud, does look quite good, so that's worth checking out. There's another nebula quite close by, but I can't remember the nebula's name, but it is surrounding a system that is genuinely called T Tauri. There it is. So it's the Hines Nebula, which it's very orange. I didn't scan everything here, but there's also a docking station in here now. But yeah, I landed on this planet here, and yeah, I got some good screenshots from thanks to the orange sky. So that was one that was worth checking out. Well, yeah, how far is this one? 680 from where I am, so that's nothing. I mean, you can do that any time you like. So yeah, there's no shortage of decent systems to check out, but the one that I would certainly recommend is NGC 7822, and you'll make a hell of a lot of credits from that trip. Less than 3,000 light years, doesn't take you long to get there, so by the time you get back, you'll be able to I'll say you'll probably make something in the region of 45-50 million, maybe more. Right, I've got to bring this to a swift halt.